Reconfigured at the 11th hour, the fair's 25th edition is a healthy mix of 20th and 21st century works, single artist presentations and specially curated sections. Disaster struck less than a month before the Armory show opened this week. Inspectors for the city declared Pier 92 structurally unfit for mounting an art fair. With some quick maneuvering, nearby Pier 90 was secured, and its inhabitants scheduled for the Volta Art Fair were scattered throughout the city. Brochures and maps for the 25th edition of the Armory show were reprinted, with shuttle buses available to visitors who can't or don't want to walk the extra 100 yards from Pier 94 to Pier 90. Inside the fair is a healthy mix of new and 20th century historical art, solo presentations and specially curated critical sections with names like Platform and Focus. This fair hews to what has become a tried and true formula among the largest art expositions, offering a diverse array of artists, including many women, panels on protest art, the biennial phenomenon, collecting and investing. It argues for the relevance of fairs beyond their value as international trade bazaars. There are many highlights among the 198 galleries. Consider these galleries as places to start. Booth 701, Pier 94. Along with a handful of other galleries clustered near the entrance to the fair on Pier 94, Tanya Bonoctor was in the first version of the Armory show 25 years ago. Called the Gramercy International Art Fair because it took place in the Gramercy Park Hotel, it had some works famously displayed on beds in the hotel rooms. That wouldn't work for the current installation at Bonoctor, which includes a giant pair of patinated bronze busts by Mark Manders, appropriately titled Two Immovable Heads 2015-2016. The display, with its enigmatically attached and fragmented profiles, complements an outdoor exhibition by Mr. Manders of a giant tilting head, created for the Public Art Fund, which materialized outside Central Park this week. Booth 824, Pier 94. There is an identifiable strain of African art circulating in galleries and museums around the world right now, in which artists create tapestry-like sculptures and wall hangings from found materials, usually in plastic and metal. The best-known artist working this vein is Ella Natsu, but the Zimbabwe-born artist Moffat Takadawa offers some terrific versions on the theme at the Los Angeles Gallery Nicodem. Pads from computer keyboards, toothbrushes, bottle caps and other detritus are woven together to create sculptures that drape and cascade and bulge from the walls. From a distance the sculptures look like textiles, but up close, the plastics and metals that populate the world's garbage dumps, and worse, oceans, become components for curiously ingenious artworks. Booth P5, Pier 94. The Berlin gallerist Tanya Wagner uses a modest corner in the presents section of the fair, devoted to younger or emerging galleries, to great advantage, showing the paintings and light sculptures of the Dresden-born Grit Richter. Ms. Richter's paintings forge conversations between abstraction and representation, art and design, past and future. With their curving forms, often called figures, although there's nary a person in view, and black and electric colors, her works look like a blast from the 1960s. And yet, her art points to a nebulous technological future in which blobs and biomorphic forms merge with human bodies and telecommunications. Booth P21, Pier 94. Also appearing in the Presents section, the Los Angeles gallerist Shulamit Nazarian has brought the witchy, psychedelic paintings of Naudeline Pierre and suspended sculptures of Fay Ray. Ms. Pierre, who lives in Brooklyn, draws from religious art sources, as well as mythology and spiritualism to make paintings in which the human bodies are blue or purple or multihued and conversions or epiphanies are taking place. Ms. Ray's sculptures, made from aluminum, chain and volcanic rocks, among other materials, dangle from above. It's hard to say in a space like the Armory just where things are attached. Like Ms. Pierre's paintings, they are meant to connect the material and spiritual worlds, a particularly high ambition at an art fair. Booth 720, Pier 94. You cannot miss the bright green booth of Marianne Ibrahim, a Seattle, and soon-to-be Chicago, art dealer who is showcasing the work of the Haitian-American artist Florini Demosthene. Ms. Demosthene's flat figurative works are mysterious in their construction, which is part of their allure. Painted, stained, printed or drawn, the people and situations she suggests, are not unlike Those of Wangeki Mutu or Chabalala self. Like those artists, the shape-shifting nature of portraiture becomes a metaphor for changing or erroneous representations of people, and particularly women, from the African diaspora. Booth 620, Pier 94. Textiles and fiber works remain popular as artists explore traditions that have been overlooked or undervalued, compared with painting and sculpture, in Western art. At the booth of the London Gallery Roncini, the American artist Samantha Bittman has created digitally printed wallpaper and hung her weavings upon that surface to create a layered and seamless-looking installation. Because weaving and digital computing are connected, not just in their gridded appearance, but in the actual punch cards invented for both technologies, there is a conceptual, visual and historical conversation going on here. Booth 519, Pier 94. The Seoul Gallery Hyundai focuses on Korean modern masters, and they have brought video sculptures from the 1990s by Nam June Paik, the best-known artist in this category. Paik was a pioneer of video art, and his works made with screens and found objects are mounted here on lemon yellow walls. Silly and banal objects, from a kitsch sculpture of Mozart to an old television console, create profound and provocative connections with art, technology and everyday experience. Booth 313, Pier 90. Down on Pier 90, the New York gallerist Lawrence Miller has brought a low-key but riveting group of collages and relief sculptures by Gary Brotmeyer. Mr. Brotmeyer's works have the glued-together, somewhat humble appearance of folk art, but their references to art and literary figures like Casimir Malevich and Jorge Luis Borges reveal a more sophisticated creator at work. Mr. Brotmeyer, however, isn't afraid of attaching a giant nose or animal ears to a photograph or otherwise defacing his subjects to highlight their and our slightly absurd humanity. Booth 310, Pier 90. The black walls in the booth of the London dealer Archaeus Postmodern distinguish it from its neighbours, as does its ambitious presentation of kinetic, light and op art sculptures from the 20th century. Here you'll find moving fluorescent ping-pong balls in a 1969 sculpture by Martha Boto, neon works by Keith Sunnier and François Morellet, kinetic sculptures by Julio Laparque, the Zero Group co-founders Heinz Mack and Otto Piene, with Mr. Piene represented by a wonderful 1967 installation with a perforated drum creating dancing light on the wall, and a characteristically solemn hologram by James Turrell.